Sister Zakia Sankara Jabbar. How are you, sis?
Peace and blessings, sis. It's a blessing to be back here with you today.
Thank you for joining us. All right, so listen, we're gonna keep it all the way 1,000. We are here today because we do not like or appreciate the dragging of Black men that's happening, the way that Ice Cube is being undermined, the way that he is being attacked by liberals, many feminists. I call them Feminuts. Anybody got a problem with it, write it in the chat or go somewhere else. We don't like the shaming tactics, the divisiveness that's happening around this conversation. Our brother has been advocating for us to get something. When I say us, Black Americans, who our ethnic group originates from this country, our ancestors were enslaved here. It's not rocket science. The movement for reparations and for us getting tangibles is something that has been advocated for hundreds of years. Okay, in this country, I did a whole broadcast before National Reparations Day. Y'all need to go back and find that. We did the history of reparations, or part of it, in this country. We covered an article by one of my elders, but new ancestors, Dr. Conrad Worrell from the National Black United Front. May he rest in power. But look, there's nothing that our brother Ice Cube is doing or saying or advocating for that hasn't been done already. Shout out to Dr. Claude Anderson. I'm about to hop up in that Powernomics masterclass in the Black Business School. Y'all need to go over there. But either way, my sister Zakia and I, we were talking yesterday. She reached out to me. She was like, sis, this has to stop. Yes, it does absolutely have to stop. Look, the article, great minds think alike. And I don't know what type of friends y'all have, what type of sisters y'all have in y'all circles. I'm talking to the queens out there, but iron sharpens iron. You know what I'm saying? And so when sis reached out to me and was like, yo, we were just, having this conversation, and this stuff has gone way too far. So let's give our sister Zakia a warm welcome into the space. How, let us know what you're thinking, what you're feeling today. And in the meantime, while she unmutes herself, I want to welcome everyone in. You're tuned into FlyNubianQueen.com, the network for melanated women and men like you. Be sure to text the word Queens to 31996. That's Queens with an S to 31996. What are your thoughts? What are you seeing? What are your observations, sis?
Sis, it's a lot, I'm really disappointed, I can say, in a lot of the rhetoric that I'm seeing, particularly on social media. And it's coming from particular people, right? I see a division. I see, regular, everyday Black folks who don't necessarily have any connections or ties to a particular white establishment are resonating, with what Ice Cube is saying, particularly Black men, right? And then I'm also seeing, people who certainly have platforms on white media networks, or they are, the Black leaders that white people have endorsed in our community, say horrible things about Black men that's not rooted in actual reality or data, quite honestly. And then I'm also seeing, folks who, again, have platforms like Joy Reid, of course, Don Lemon. I think we're going to talk about him. I'm seeing these people use pathological narratives, anti-Black narratives about Ice Cube. And, it's about control is what I see. It's about, wanting to control a free, independent thinking Black man. The other thing is character. There's a characterization of what he's actually about. And that's intentional, right? For people who are non-thinking and who only get their information from mainstream media, the MSDNCs of the world, the Clinton News networks of the world, and Fox News, right-wing, trashy, right-wing news, right? So here's the thing. Most Black people have woke up to the fact that neither one of them care about the regular, everyday Black American. Cube is right about that. He is absolutely right and within his right to not be in anyone's camp, right? The other thing is that, we can debate the merits of the contract with Black America. He's actually been talking about it for months. I'm seeing people who not connected because they only get their information from mainstream media. Well, what about his timing? His timing is off. We're only a few weeks from the election. He released the damn contract back in July. And he talked about, like how a lot of other people woke up, was after George Floyd, a spark let off in him. And he talked about helping his own family members, his aunts, his uncles. He is seeing the economic deterioration of Black folks in America. He's Black. He's a descendant of enslaved Africans. Yes, he's wealthy or he's rich, but he's feeding probably everybody in his damn family. And he thinks that's a goddamn problem, right? So he's well within his right to develop an agenda, as you said, and he clearly said, I'm working with very smart people. I saw that in his interview. See, I have been listening to what he's actually saying instead of projecting, which is what a lot of people doing, the Joanne Reeds of the world, the Don Lemons, people are projecting things onto him, lying and saying that, he's endorsed Trump. I've seen all kind of things, and he like, but I haven't endorsed anybody. The man is the president. He's in power. The other thing, it happened to Killer Mike when he met with the governor of Georgia. We have got to get out of this idea, this conditioning that that white people put us in whatever box and we run to that box without getting anything out of it for the masses. This is my thing, the masses of our community. White liberals have socialized us to believe that symbolism is a win for all of us. And it's not.
Absolutely. And you know what? When you came on, and shout out to everyone. It's a lot of people who just came in here. Shout out to everyone. And listen, we're in here with my sisters, Zakiya and Kara Jabbar. Sis, you don't have to unmute. But look, remember the last time you came onto the show and we talked about the value of bipartisanship, and you stressed repeatedly in terms of your work in activism, advocating for Black families and Black parents about like, hey, sometimes the damn Democratic candidate is the one who's holding up the progress, and then you go to the Republican one and had a conversation.
And that's on the local level.
Just on the local level, exactly. But if people aren't smart enough or nuanced enough or bold enough to dare to be bipartisan in some of these issues because they feel like they're owned by a particular political party in this case, the Democrats, the liberals, or the progressives, whatever the hell, it's like you literally feel that the world is going to end, or that there's a major issue with bipartisanship. And that is a damn problem. That's why we have what we have right now, which is not very much.
And so, and to me, I want to be clear, that's for people because there are people who say, well, we shouldn't be participating in the system at all. And I think that's a good political theory. However, for many of us, it's not reality. So when people because the other thing that I'm hearing about the critique of the contract with Black America is all these liberals, Black capitalism ain't gonna save us. Okay, I get it. I'm actually rocking with you on a lot of the things that you say in terms of the critique. I'm rocking with you on that. The problem is that we do live not just in a capitalist country, but global capitalism is the reality, right? And we cannot be the moral bitches of the world while we continue to be at the social, political, and economic bottom of the entire world and country. That's not okay. So my thing is that I question sometimes these people who identify as socialists or communists every time Black people try to make a money move just so that we can have our basic needs met. Let me give you some statistics because I want to be really, really clear because I'm frustrated. 40 to 50% of the homeless in this entire country are Black folks, particularly descendants of enslaved Africans. Democrats not talking about that. Republicans not talking about that. Ice Cube live in LA. You don't think he know what Skid Row look like? You don't think he drive by and see the Black faces in Skid Row? Right? So my thing is, when you look at the education system, whose kids are on the bottom 9 times out of 10 when it comes to the data? Where's the opportunity gaps? That's my field. That's my expertise, right? And so I'm frustrated because I'm tired, like Cube is, of seeing our people on the bottom, of seeing our people constantly in a begging position. And here's the kicker. Democrats leverage the fact that we are in a begging position, that we are in a position of brokenness, and that we'll accept any goddamn thing. And to me, it's got to be time out for that. They have hired Black faces, Black mercenaries that, as Ice Cube put it on his Twitter page today, that shore up the Black vote and herd us like sheep into one camp. This has been going on for 50 plus years. It is not about being for Trump to point that out. It is not about being for Republicans to point that out. See, what I don't understand about liberals, and I posted this on my Twitter, they ain't got no problem with binaries when it comes to Democrats and Republicans. Everything else, the binary has to go. But when it comes to politics, they real binary. If you ain't automatically on Team Democrat, oh, you gotta be for Trump. And I think that's a contradiction. You know, they can be expansive in their thinking on everything. But when it comes to Black people saying, well, I'm being expansive, and well, shit, I live in Washington, D.C., and we getting gentrified the hell out of here. You know what I'm saying? I live in San Francisco, and I can no longer afford to live in San Francisco. The last time I checked, Trump only been in office for 4 years. The issues that Black people have been going on for decades under both Democrat and Republican leadership. It's time to be honest about that. So I don't understand these Black people that have a problem with Ice Cube saying, clearly, I'm not in nobody's camp. He has said that over and over again on Roland, on Chris Cuomo last night, on his Twitter page, on his own videos. I'm not in nobody's camp. Everybody's trying to push me into somebody's camp because we see Ava, Kerry Washington, we see Cardi B, we see all these other celebrities, Plies, and we clap it up for them because they just saying get out and vote. But they're also rich, living in Hollywood. Yeah, get out and vote. Okay, your material conditions are not changed under Trump. If anything, they probably increased in wealth, if we want to be honest.
We are tuned in to flynubianqueen.com, the network for melanated women like you. We're here with my sister, our sister. Welcome her in, Zakia Sankar Jabbar. She is a thought leader in the Black community. She's a longtime activist and advocate working around organizing Black parents, you know, Black parents advocating for y'all. So y'all need to know who she definitely is. She also has her own platform and talks to other organizers who are Black, who, you know, are like-minded from around the country doing similar work so we can actually get some policy moved. So definitely welcome our sister Zakia into the space. She's an unapologetic Black woman. Married to an unapologetic Black man with her unapologetically Black family. And honestly, we are not here for it. We're not here for the sort of anti-Black racism that attacks heterosexual Black males in particular, right? So we're going to delve into these feminist agendas and how they're operating. And, you know, I'm going to pull up a couple things. We have our brother Ice Cube, who was on Chris Cuomo last night. I don't know if you all saw that, so we're going to take a look at that clip. We're going to hear from some despicable comments that Don Lemon also said that undermined Cube with Chris Cuomo right after Cube left. And so if Don Lemon is listening, maybe I need to tag him or share this. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he'll take the debate or grow some, I don't know, have the testicular fortitude to have Cube on his program on Monday night at 10 p.m. Cube said he'll be ready. But look, all of this stuff has to stop. We cannot undermine each other and work as agents of white supremacy, attacking other Black folk when we are the ones, who, y'all included, you know, who are in the chat right now. Shout out to everyone who is B1. We're the ones out here actually advocating unapologetically and uncompromisingly for a Black agenda, something that's going to empower us and not every other group. So it's like, it's not rocket science. But sis, what I am going to do, I'm going to give you some comments. Maybe you can kind of describe the article that you and I talked about. And I'm going to project the article, but as you're describing that, you know, before I share my screen, I'll read the copyright disclaimer. And I want everyone to hit the like button. Shout out to everyone who has hit the super chat so far. We want to thank Solo Dolo, brother Solo Dolo, Ice Cube is using his influence for the good and it scares them. Salute to Ice Cube. Yes, and salute to you for always being consistent with us, brother, and for supporting black media. And Diane says, I'm a 61-year-old black woman and I stand with Ice Cube. Thank you so much, Ms. Diane Fogy, for your generous contribution to Fly Nubian Queen and for supporting the voices of Black news media and for standing up for our brother Ice Cube. We need to definitely get a hashtag going for sure, for sure. So sis, can you tell us about that article that we both shared and talked about yesterday?
Yeah, so I saw an article that was in USA who works with Trump or endorses Trump or something like really shady and says Black women are calling him out as if Black women are a monolith. And I want to be really clear. The Black women that she quoted in that article are not, their views are not representative of the majority of the Black community. These are Black women who are certainly a part of the intelligentsia. These are Black women who are certainly paid academics who have financial incentives to focus on negatively characterizing and creating caricatures of Black men. This is a continuation of what we saw out of intelligentsia during the eugenics movement, right? The eugenics movement started actually in the university, in many Ivy League universities, where they said, particularly Black men, but Black people in general, including Black women, that we were less intelligent, right? That our skull size meant that we were intellectually inferior. And these views have continued even with people on the left and the right. And a part of that is sisters like that who create this monolithic view of how Black women feel and think, and caricature Black men in the media for clout. It's about doing anything for clout, and it's very rewarding. As you can see, the author of the title has her own agenda. She actually used a clip of a Twitter tweet that called Ice Cube an N-word, right? So she can't say the N-word, but she can certainly screenshot where a Black woman is calling Ice Cube an N-word and include that in her article. So that's the problem. Yeah, we can show the people Ice Cube is working with Trump, which is a lie. He has clarified that, and Black women are calling him out. Right. So she uses two well-known Black feminists, particularly in the university. These authors of these kind of writings, right, can never go to a regular everyday Black woman in the hood and expect to get the same answer, period. She would never interview me because I'm going to tell her the truth. And she also would never interview Jade. They have a Rolodex of approved Negroes that they can call on to create and perpetuate a certain narrative. That's what we have going on.
100%. And we're gonna scroll through this. We're gonna show the article. Thank you for that intro, Sisters Ikea. Look, and I had you big on the screen because I wanted folks to listen in to that message, to let people know that Black women are not a damn monolith, and all of us are not getting down with this damn, I call it anti-Black racist feminist BS, because I'm gonna try not to curse today. But either way, this is a copyright disclaimer under section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button and subscribe to Fly Nubian Queen. Look, allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. So this is an article that our sister was talking about. Ice Cube is working with Trump, and Black women are calling him out. Brother Kareem Johnson and I talked about this article extensively yesterday on our program called The Lioness Den, which is weekdays, FlyNubianQueenTV.com, which is our YouTube channel, 12 p.m. Eastern time. All right, so we talked about that. And so, this is a whole bunch of instigation, basically. we don't necessarily need to go through all of it, but this person who wrote this, I assumed that the chick was Black. I should have looked her up. I should have looked at her photo. I should have looked at who this person
I looked
was.
her up. I posted her photo on my feed.
You definitely posted her photo on your feed. And when I saw it, I was like, stop the madness, right? And so she's talking about these complaints that Black women who, I don't know if they're in her little feminist circles or whatever, they definitely not, these aren't the type of Black women I roll with. But either way, this one section says Black women.
Nobody is missing from his plan. Let me be really clear.
Yes,
his plan is for all Black people. They are intentionally creating a division in his plan. His plan is for all Black people, but they are creating the division through their projection. Go ahead.
No, absolutely. That's all I'm saying. It was just like a part of this section that I really went in yesterday. I expended a lot of energy. So I'm grateful that our sister Zakia is here today, because I went all the way in and gave a whole monologue diatribe about how they are definitely saying, or this chick who wrote this is saying that because Black women are complaining because Black women, Black queer, and Black trans people were omitted from Ice Cube's contract with Black America, which is completely false. When we say Black people, we mean Black people. So stop coming in and instigating on some divide and conquer type, or maybe even COINTELPRO type tactics that are happening right now.
It's definitely COINTELPRO-ish.
Definitely. You want to expand on that point?
Yeah, I think I talked about it last time. And of course, I encourage people to go back and read the tenets of COINTELPRO, and it's specifically targeted at a Black messiah, right? To never allow the rise. And you sow division and discord. And to me, I gotta be real, liberals in the last 10 years have been the ones sowing the most discord in our community. And they have been doing it through social media and through what I call paid Black mercenaries. And the first sign of that really triggered that, I mean, there were inklings before that, but never forget the article that two Black men wrote that called Black men at large in our community, the white people of Black people. That's COINTELPRO.
It was so COINTELPRO. I was so heated. And a lot of people were like, yeah, that's kind of true. And I was like, all right, so cancel, delete, block.
It's not true.
Don't associate with me. X, Y, and Z. It was called Very Smart Brothers. They put this out like Black men are the white men of Black people. Hell to the nah. So yes, go ahead, continue on, because that was some COINTELPRO type stuff.
But I'm giving a timeline. This has been going on for years, and they are using social media platforms and paid Black faces on white-owned media platforms, because the root is not Black-owned, neither is the griot. And so we have to be mindful of this. Cube is independent, so he has to be attacked. Anybody who's independent and not giving the stamp of approval from either white liberals or white conservatives, because we can go in just as much on Candace Owens, we can go in just as much on, Black conservatives. But what we got to understand is that these are both two camps. There's way more Black liberals that are paid by white folks. But you have a certain number, like the Candace Owenses of the world, who are also she's also a paid Black mercenary, right? What we need to get to is the independence. We don't need anybody telling us why we need to support Trump. We don't need anybody telling us and why we need to support Biden. Because what Cube is doing is trying to get an actual agenda on the table that somebody, either candidate, commits to. And to me, that's what you call leverage. A lot of us don't have political education. The other thing I want to point out is that, and this is the truth, numerically, data-wise, Black people are the only subgroup of people in this country that put all of our eggs in one basket when it comes to the vote.
Absolutely, that's true. That is
only Latinos don't do that. Asians definitely don't do it, right? Jewish people don't do it, right? Most other communities almost split their votes based on what they can get for their community. Based on what they can get for their community, right? We are the only group, and Q pointed this out. We just jump on teams and don't get shit for it.
Absolutely, but we also allow themselves to get manipulated and duped by individuals.
We are in an abusive relationship, and this is what I don't understand about Black feminists. Let me get this out, sis. And yeah, this is the woman. But this is what I don't understand. The same Black feminists that's trying to herd us like sheep to vote for Joe Biden, right, are the same ones who use cancel culture with Black men as irredeemable and we need to divest. But they don't want to divest from the Democratic Party. They don't want to divest from a white man like Joe Biden. That don't concern people.
And these are also the same Black feminists or so-called Black feminists. People keep texting me right now. These are the same so-called Black feminists.
That's my pictures coming through. I'm sorry.
Okay, cool. Who also, they support things like WAP. You know what I'm saying? That's your thing. Then that's your thing. Your Megan Thee Stallion and the Cardi B's, and they see women doing really, really sexually degrading things and suppress. So let me come off this chick right quick, because we got to preach today. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button. These are the same chicks who are also out here talking about protect all Black women. These are the same chicks who are also out here talking about thought culture and whole culture is glorified, aka Suki Hana. You know what I'm saying? Tax that NIGGA, get money, use your vagina and X, Y, and Z for sex for bargaining tools and to get money for it. Oh, but then these are the same Black women and so-called feminists that will go out and attack a brother like Ice Cube or somebody else in the hip hop industry for accusing them of toxic masculinity and misogyny and all this extra bullshit. We're not here for it. We're not here for it. But what we're really not here for, because we're going to keep this train moving, make sure y'all hit the like button, get subscribed to FlyNubianQueen.com, the network for melanated people like you. This is the Becky, author of that USA Today article that instigated a divide between Black women and Black men and tried to undermine our brother Ice Cube's plan for Black America, claiming that it did not include Black women, it did not include or does not include Black queer and Black trans people, which is BS. And so we need to put her on blast, and we need to also put on blast any and every person who's Black. If you call yourself a feminist, I'll call you a feminine. You're getting manipulated and duped by people like this. This chick also, this same author also used to write for DCist before she joined USA Today. And what did she write for DCist? She followed all the crime stories for the weekend. So anytime there was a shooting or a stabbing, she was the one writing the descriptions and writing that out and putting out there. Now she has some things about mental health and, survivors of sexual abuse and all of that kind of stuff. But Becky, stay in your lane and deal with the issues happening in your community and stay the hell up out of Black folk business. That's what I got to say about that. That's what I got to say about her. The next thing is, Feminuts and these liberals who undermine Black progress and Black men don't have to be white females or non-Black females. They can also take the form of this type of filth. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen while y'all hit the like button right quick. You're tuned in to FlyNubianQueen.com. Now, I don't know if y'all saw our brother Ice Cube on Chris Cuomo last night. He explained himself, and he explained himself damn well. Y'all need to go back and take a look at that. But what I am gonna show is this dude right here named Don Lemon, you know what I'm saying, completely undermining our brother Ice Cube after he came on the damn show with Chris Cuomo talking smack. Now I'm gonna play this right quick.
And the numerous conversations but that makes a lot of the criticism unfair, because a lot of the critics are saying you sided with Trump. No, but you didn't hear what I just said. No, not you. I'm saying, but I'm saying.
Let me go back to the beginning of it. This little dialogue.
Because they can't get women. They're also trying to. And
he's trying to claim that Black men, and they're trying to malign Black men and say Black men are going to be the ones voting for Trump because they are undermining Black women and because they're undermining, undocumented immigrants and all of this stuff. Black men are not getting down with being controlled or subdued by submitting to the white liberals or anybody. These are free-thinking Black men who are taking leadership as they have historically in this country. You know what I'm saying? So look, listen to what Don Lemon does to undermine our brother Ice Cube. And I'm gonna need y'all to go ahead and make sure you hit that like button. Text the word Queens to 31996.
Because they can't get women, they're also trying to, in some way, pit African-American men or Black men against Black women, right? And that's why I hear this talk, in the barbershop all the time. You know, I live uptown. I hear this kind of talk all the time, especially from Black men. And I think that people need to know what they're talking about, and they just, more importantly, know what they're voting for. Right. Okay. All right. Go on. Sorry. I would only say I agree with everything. Obviously, I mean, you know, you've helped me greatly in understanding my education of a lot of the racial aspects of current issues. You and, you know, a lot of other friends of color that I have, and I think it's important because a lot of times perspective is a big place of where you start in terms of when you read the same document. But when you read the contract with Black America, there's a whole panoply of different things he has in it. I don't think that. I can't say that Ice Cube has an obvious deficiency of perspective about anything. Everything that he lays out in the document is pretty solid in terms of the need. The only thing I will give him in his defense that I didn't understand until I talked to him is I don't believe that he sees himself as affiliated with the Trump campaign.
As he's not. Is he? Is he, sis? Is he? How many times has he said that he is not? That he is not. All right, I'm gonna press play again.
Anybody wants to talk to me, I'll talk to him. Biden said I'll do it after. They said they'll do it now, so I gave it to him now. Yeah, but he said that, and the numerous conversations that. But that makes a lot of the criticism unfair because a lot of the critics are saying you've sided with Trump. No, but you didn't hear what I just said. No, not you. I'm saying, but I'm saying he's getting hit with that a lot. That's why one of the reasons I did. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, I said there is a reason why most Black people don't align themselves with the Trump philosophy. Right. Obvious reasons. For obvious reasons. And I think that, listen, quite frankly, Cube, you have to recognize that. I respect him, and if he's listening or watching, that he's trying to ultimately help people. But it is important in the way you do it as well, and with whom you do it.
Listen to that elitism. Listen to that control. I understand. I mean, it's so patronizing, right? I understand you want to help people. I understand, but it's important, like, you know, you got to go to the right people. You know, we already have agendas. And these are the agendas that are endorsed by white intelligentsia. And we have our Black people who we pay to carry the water. That's what I heard.
Absolutely.
That's what I heard. As if Black people don't have minds of our own. As if we don't have an African-centered epistemology, right? We do have a mind of our own. We have our own Black thinkers. We have our own Black scholars. What I appreciated about what Cube said, and this was on Roland Martin, is that he didn't do people are trying to articulate this contract with Black America like Cube was the only one who sat down in his house and literally typed it up on the computer and put it on his website.
Yeah, he had researchers, scholars. This is a whole.
He had researchers, he had scholars. The problem is, because I heard people say, you know, well, why didn't you connect with grassroots activists? He did. He connected with and here's the thing, we got divisions even within the community. You know, there are people who are in certain camps, but he did meet with certain Black organizers. It just may not be the organizers that white liberals endorse, or it might be it's not organizers that white conservatives endorse. It's what he felt comfortable talking to. My understanding is that he's met with Dr. Claude Anderson, who is revered in our community by a large segment of our community. Yes. Black Marxists and Black socialists don't like Claude Anderson, but there's a lot of people who really resonate with his book and his ideas around powernomics and his understanding of economic system and the way economics currently works in the United States, right? He was one of the advisors, right? He also met with Antonio Moore, who is a lawyer. I know that he is a part of the ADOS movement, which is controversial. But to say he didn't meet with anybody and that he just came up with this plan on his own is projection, and it's a flat out lie.
Absolutely. He's also met with Dr. Boyce Watkins several times, who was like,
right. And people don't approve of Boyce Watkins. It's like, well, wait a minute. White people told me that Boyce was bad. White people told me, that ADOS is bad, right? But white liberals don't approve of them, so they're bad Black people, right? So, nah, stop projecting. What I see about Ice Cube is that he's independent. The other thing is that a lot of my NOI brothers and sisters have been saying, shout out to them as well, is that he's been connected to Minister Farrakhan for years, damn
Yes.
near about 35 years. So he's also a revered elder to a lot of us in the Black community. But we already know if you mention Farrakhan, you canceled by the left and the right.
Shout out to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the Nation of Islam, the FOI, and everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Y'all have been holding it down. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Farah Muhammad, all of that. I'm with it. When I was growing up in DC, we didn't have police killing and shooting people in my neighborhood. You know, we had peace during the time because we had FOI. We had the brothers.
That was FOI. They cleaned
FOI
up.
Security.
There's a New York Times article that was written in the 90s where they cleaned up the whole hood in DC.
Facts.
And that was under Dr. Aleem Muhammad.
I'm gonna unshare my screen now. But yeah, they absolutely did. And I knew how much water on the planet, you know what I'm saying? How much the earth, like everything, like facts, you know what I'm saying? And just knowledge, knowing who I was, original God, you know what I'm saying? Original people. So shout out to the FOI, shout out to the Nation of Islam, shout out to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Don't let nobody tell you nothing different. Now look, we heard some comments that I was about to say this little boy, Don Lemon, was saying last night, undermining our brother Ice Cube. Ice Cube said, hey, he'll come onto the show. But listen, I have to do this. This is the same Ice Cube. And y'all bear with me right quick. Not the same Ice Cube. This is the same damn Don Lemon. The same Don Lemon.
Oh yeah, you gotta show that.
Undermined Black people. And I'm gonna let y'all.
He has a white conservative view of the hood. This is how he views Black undercast in this country.
Absolutely.
So I want people, let's watch that clip right now.
And listen, I want y'all to be sure to support us. Go over to our shop, support shopfnq.com. Also sign up for flynubianmoney.com and flynubianbusiness.com. And if you want to join our team, send an email to producer@flynubianmedia.com. That's producer@flynubianmedia.com. Also, just so you know, we're chopping it up. I am Jade Arundel, aka Lioness Crowned, your revolutionary, unapologetically Black African host, right here at flynubianqueen.com, the network for melanated people like you. And we have our sister Zakia Sankara Jabbar, who is a Black thought leader, activist, organizer, and advocate for Black parents and families, in addition to being an unapologetically Black strong Black woman, all that good stuff. And so y'all gonna see her on the platform more often because we will be bringing her in as she is an expert. All right, here we go. Look, that's the same damn Don Lemon that I had to tweet earlier that y'all heard undermining our brother Ice Cube. And shout out to our brother Ice Cube, right? Protect Ice Cube, #protect Ice Cube. We're going to protect our brother at all costs because he's B1. I tweeted this. I said, Don Lemon has been an anti-Black racist hater of heterosexual Black men for a long time. His attacks on Ice Cube are a mere extension of that. Peep the vitriol below. Let's see if he musters up some testicular fortitude by Monday, right? And then I tagged a few folks. So let me go ahead and make this bigger because y'all got to hear, y'all got to see what he done said about Black folk. Listen up. Y'all hit that like button too. Does it not want to play? Ooh.
It's time now for some tough love on the subject. The reason there is so much violence and chaos in the Black precincts is the disintegration of the African-American family.
First of all, let us note that this MFer, this fool, Don Lemon, you know what I'm saying? He deserves it, y'all. He deserves it. God is still working on me. I'm name calling today. I know I'm supposed to be following what Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. said, but he deserves it. Mind you, he is co-signing anti-Black racist talking points from Bill O'Reilly and highlighting it on his show in this clip on CNN. Now look.
He's got a point. In fact, he's got more than a point. Bill? Raised without much structure, young Black men often reject education and gravitate towards the street culture, drugs, hustling, gangs. Nobody forces them to do that. Again, it is a personal decision.
He is right about that too. But in my estimation, he doesn't go far enough. Because Black people, if you really want to fix the problem, here's just 5 things that you should think about doing. Here's number 5, pull up your pants. Number 4 now is the N-word. Now number 3, respect where you live. Start small by not dropping trash, littering in your own communities. I've lived in several predominantly white neighborhoods in my life. I rarely, if ever, witness people littering. I live in Harlem now. It's an historically black neighborhood. Every single day I see adults and children dropping their trash on the ground when a garbage can is just feet away. Just being honest here. Number 2, finish school. You want to break the cycle of poverty? Stop telling kids are acting white because they go to school or they speak proper English. Over the course of a career, a college grad will make nearly $1 million more than a high school graduate. That's a lot of money. And number 1, and probably the most important, just because you can have a baby, it doesn't mean you should, especially without planning for one or getting married first. More than 72% of children in the African-American community are born out of wedlock. That means absent fathers. And the studies show that lack of a male role model is an express train right to prison. And the cycle continues. So please, black folks, pay close attention to the hip hop and rap culture that glorifies everything I just mentioned. Thug and reprehensible behavior. A culture that is making a lot of people rich, just not you.
Y'all hear this? Don Lemon, you are not qualified to criticize any black person ever. That's what I'm gonna say on that. I mean, it's a whole bunch of epithets,
not only is
bunch of things I could say right now, sis.
Not only is he not qualified, I mean, you know, who is he, right? Like, I mean, who are you to yeah, it's like you got to be careful, but
just because he said, just because black people, just because you can have a baby doesn't mean you need to have a baby.
That's a eugenics argument.
Yes,
and he is talking. That's a eugenics argument. He is talking to the black underclass, and he's on that personal responsibility. He quoted Bill O'Reilly, out of all people, who we know is a suspected white supremacist.
But he said he believes that Bill O'Reilly didn't go far
enough. So this is where you get the duality between the left and the right. They actually agree when it comes to black people on a lot of these things. So Don Lemon is progressive on certain issues, but when it comes to black folks, it's not structural issues that produce the conditions in our community. All we need is respectability. Pull up our pants, go to school, you know, that's all we need. And so I think that, to me, he's not qualified to say anything to Ice Cube about anything. In fact, Ice Cube, quite honestly, is an example of a black man who was able to, quote unquote, pull himself up by his proverbial bootstraps to become a multi-millionaire successful businessman in this country. So, you know, maybe Ice Cube still don't wear his pants up. Maybe he still, I mean, you know, so to me, this is a very classist argument. To me, this is how you have to understand the class divide in the black community. The talking heads that are black that you see on mainstream TV are black upper middle class people who are connected, who have given a blue check. They have been signed off and approved by either white conservatives or white liberals. They are not representative of the entire black community. And everybody calls Candace Owens a sellout. Why don't we call Don Lemon a sellout? Because he's progressive on certain issues, and the mainstream media told you that those certain issues should matter to you as a black person, even though you homeless, okay? Even though your kids are getting kicked out of school and sent into the school to prison pipeline more than any other group of kids.
But he's saying our kids need to be educated and finish school. Black people.
Yeah, but our kids are being targeted and identified as early as 3 years old in school. Kamala Harris knows something about that because as DA of the Bay Area, San Francisco, she criminalized black parents. But these are our saviors. Okay, so Black independence is the way to go, in my humble opinion. Not to be in anybody's camp. That's what Ice Cube kept saying.
I agree. Look, y'all are tuned in. We're right here at flynubianqueen.com. You want to make sure you are subscribed to us on Facebook, iTunes, and YouTube. Be sure to text the word Queens to 31996. That's Queens with an S to 31996. These are the types of Black first conversations coming from and being moderated by Black women that we need to get out there. And Black folks in general, because y'all already know I bring on brothers onto the show more often than not. But this is a space for people who are Black first, you know what I'm saying? So all of this the division, divisiveness, the claims that Ice Cube doesn't respect Black women, he left out Black women for the contract with Black America is BS. The claim
Can
that
you show that ma'am I sent you that talked about poor Black people and how if we don't have a certain kind of dialect or language on TV, then people shouldn't take them seriously, and instead of the merit of their ideas, it's about the delivery. I really resonated with that, and that's what you see with the elitism. That's what you see with the elitism from Brittany Cooper. Yeah, so put that up. That really resonated with me. And I follow this sister on Twitter. She's actually been doing a lot of really interesting tweets. And I'm gonna read this for people. You know, I'll say the N word where she has, you know, the N word, but she says, y'all don't like / listen to poor N words without degrees and white language as much as y'all lie and say you do. Because when you get on here every day, you like these N words is lying, y'all ignore us, but when it's the structure of the argument is dishonest, suddenly you get it. Unpack that. And that's what I've been hearing about Ice Cube. Like, oh, look at him on Roland Martin. He couldn't even get his words out. But y'all cool with Cardi B and with Biden. Y'all cool with Cardi B and with Bernie Sanders.
Right. What? This one popped up too, sis. I didn't mean
to. Let's deal with this, because now we're seeing this is the divide again, right? Black men hate Black women. I'm seeing that on Twitter. Black men don't like strong Black women. That's a damn lie. I'm married to a Black man and I'm damn sure a strong Black woman. I'm married to a Black man who loves a strong Black woman and got my back from here to there all the way. So that's a damn lie. And I know plenty of Black men in my family who are not afraid of, most Black women in my family are strong Black women. And those of us that are married to Black men. So let's kill that analogy right there. Let's just kill that fallacy, because it's a straight up fallacy. Black men have been loving strong Black women for centuries. We saw that with Harriet Tubman. But listen, it says Black men are the most incarcerated people on the entire fucking planet. And the criticism of Kamala as an ex-DA, DA means district attorney, from Black men, it is not because she's a woman. Now, to me, that is a logical, non-emotional argument, period. It's the truth. The other thing that we don't want to talk about is that in order to really make it in America, you got to be anti-Black. You got to shit on other Black people. Dr. Amos Wilson told us about that. He discussed that in several of his books. Watch when a Black person get elected, more Black people will be depressed. More Black people will be homeless. We saw that under Obama. Black wealth, we lost a little bit of Black wealth that we built from the civil rights movement up until President Obama's election. We lost that during the housing crisis that he did not use his attorney general power, his presidency, to prosecute Wall Street. He didn't, y'all. We got to sit with that and be honest about that. So this is the class divide that no one wants to talk about. The other thing that I sent you is I want you to show the graph of Black men support. Yeah, this is good. This is from actually my cousin by marriage. This is my husband's cousin. He's actually the youngest elected official in the city of Louisville. He's been on the front lines with the community, with the Breonna Taylor, protest. Brother Ja'Cory Arthur, again, is my cousin by marriage. And he says here, anyone criticizing Ice Cube must care more about voting blue than living black. And if you're that politically woke, come on now, you'd be more mad about Biden and Harris not willing to have a serious discussion about us outside of the paid Black mercenaries who have been paid to deliver us like sheep into the Democratic trough. Now, show that graph of Black men support. This is important. This is important because now we're seeing the characterization that Black men are conservative, that Black men are anti-LGBT, okay? That Black men are anti-women, that Black men are anti-anything progressive. But what does this chart say? Look at the support between Black men and Black women. And for people who can't see it, Black men is representative of the blue and Black women is representative of the gray. And what you see here, this is from 2019. If the election were held today, this is when Bernie Sanders was still in the primary. If the election were made today between Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders, who would you vote for? Look at the numbers. They're statistically tied damn near for Donald Trump. 12% Black men, 6% Black women. But look at the numbers for Bernie Sanders. Black men are economically, goddammit, castrated in this country. You want to know why they supported Bernie Sanders? Because Bernie Sanders had a plan for housing for all. Bernie Sanders had a plan for a federal job guarantee that my friend Dr. Derek Hamilton helped him develop. Okay. Bernie Sanders also had a plan to deliver getting rid of all student loan debt for everybody. That includes Black folks. Okay. The other thing is that Bernie Sanders also dealt with climate change and he dealt with environmental racism, right? And just look at the just look at it. 69% of Black men supported Bernie Sanders because they resonated with his plan. So this idea, yeah, thank you. They resonated with what his economic platform was, right? But look at the probably not vote. This is interesting. They were even 10% vote for somebody else. But look at the probably not vote. 17% of Black women say they probably will not vote, and 6% of Black men say they will probably not vote. There is research and evidence that Black men are actually much more progressive than they're characterized to be by the liberal left.
I agree. And listen, I know several Black men who are very, very conscious in terms of Bernie's policies. They supported him, especially this time around. They were like, yo, if we're not going to get some economically empowering policies around here, we ain't voting. And I still know some of those brothers refuse not to vote right now. I was a single issue voter, this entire election in terms of reparations and tangibles, kind of like, we're talking about getting something for our vote, but I did not like Bernie Sanders's position on reparations. But I mean, also like his policies were better clearly than a damn Joe Biden. And right. So I like the fact that you brought this graph in this chart here because
I wanted this chart to be here because the idea is that Black men are conservative and they hate every other group of people.
You mean the idea that the media is trying to put out that
exactly that they're projecting on when really Black men are responding to economics. Black men are economically castrated in this country. And so that's why, because see, now you see the contradiction. 69%, damn near 7 out of 3 Black men supported Bernie Sanders. to 57% of Black women. Now we need to unpack that, right? Of course, none of them supported reparations. I am for reparations. My husband sits on the board for in Cobra. We are for reparations. I have always been for reparations. However, like I say to everybody, if you're going to participate in the political process in this country, you have to use what's called leverage. And you also have to deal with people that most closely aligns with what you and your community actually need and desire. And so for a lot of Black people, they aligned with shit. I'm saddled with $60,000 worth of student loan debt, right? Oh shit, I'm homeless, or I'm on the brink of homelessness. I can't keep a good job, right? A federal job guarantee goes a long way. And guess why he did a federal job guarantee is because we're increasingly, the listeners have to hear this, we are increasingly entering into a technological world where you're going to have what's called AI, artificial intelligence, that's going to replace a lot of jobs that normally Black people and other people of color as essential workers normally do. That's going to send an even worse economic downturn into the community. People were not talking about this. Keep in mind, the paid Black people their allegiance is not to the Black masses. Keep it 100. Their allegiance is either to the Republican National Committee or the Democratic National Committee. And neither one of them line up with the interests of the masses of Black people.
Absolutely. And you know what? Thank you for that, sis, and for that clarification. If y'all are just tuning in, we're at flynubianqueen.com. My show is called The Lioness Den. This is a special time. I got a very, very special guest and sister on here, Zakiya Sankara Jabbar, who is an activist, a thought leader in the Black community, an intellectual, a parent, an organizer, and advocate for Black parents and stuff like that nationally. We're talking about a national level and really pushing policies that are going to empower Black people. What we were just talking about just now really dispels the myth that Black men are these uber conservatives or whatever. No, that chart shows that Black men are motivated to vote for economic policies. And I saw someone put in the chat a few minutes ago that they're voting for the highest bidder. Their vote is for sale. My vote is for sale, as it should be. But look, the audacity, right? This is what these people are trying to do and say. The audacity that a strong heterosexual Black man like Ice Cube, who is wealthy, highly successful,
been married to a Black woman with Black kids for over 30 years.
That part, who is married to a Black woman for over 30 years with his Black children. How dare he have the balls or the gumption or the audacity to demand anything for Black people that's going to be specifically for Black people. Now, one thing that I did not like that Don Lemon said, y'all, and y'all make sure y'all hit the like button and share this broadcast. He said last night is that he tried to use a talking point that Black men are more likely to vote for Trump just because they side with his immigration policies, and that Black men and Black people, Black men in this case, are, anti-Black women, they're anti-women and all of this stuff. And they're siding with Trump over immigration and that kind of thing. And so Don Lemon was really trying to convince Chris Cuomo and the damn audience and millions of people around the world. Shout out to Black Mama. Thank you so much for your generous contribution to Fly Nubian Queen.
Yeah, we got over 700 people live listening. That's
right. Y'all need to hear this message. Now, Don Lemon tried to use his platform last night to convince Chris Cuomo and the rest of the world that Black men cannot think for themselves and are therefore siding with entertaining liberals or conservatives or negotiating with them because they're being manipulated or duped, which is also a very, very anti-Black talking point. I talked about this yesterday extensively with my brother Kareem Johnson. A very anti-Black talking point, and that, it's saying that Black people, especially Black men, can't think for themselves. And that's BS. This feminist rhetoric is racist and anti-Black. We're not falling for it. That Becky wrote that article is instigating some stuff. There are a lot of Black feminists also on Twitter with blue checks who are pro-establishment, bought and paid for by progressives, liberals, Democrats, whatever hell you want to call them. And they're also brainwashed into that. And we also have a lot of broken and traumatized Black women and men in our community. And because of that experience, it has been manipulated. And then also, look, Sisters Ikea, we already know some people are willing participants in this coordinated attack against our brothers. But let me tell y'all something. There's not going to be any Black community without the Black woman, and there damn sure ain't going to be no Black community without the Black child, and no Black community without the Black man. I do not, people say the future is female. No, the future is Black, male, and female. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, 100. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Sisters Ikea, we're gonna wrap this up pretty soon because I know we both want to get on, to other things on our Saturdays, but feel free to make any other points. I'm gonna definitely give you the last word.
Absolutely, sis. As always, thank you for inviting me on to the show. I'm glad we had an opportunity to really talk about this and unpack it. Excited to see so many people on live listening. I know that it's been shared as well on Facebook. And just want to encourage our people to get clear, stay clear, have clarity of purpose, and listen, and don't second guess yourself, right? I was talking about the video of Ice Cube actually talking to Chris Cuomo, because I was like, I really want people to hear his words if they hadn't, because it was very clear.
For sure. I'm going to pull that up.
Absolutely. And so don't second guess yourself. Listen with intention. Don't project anything on to what the brother is saying. He's been very clear. He has no reason to lie. He's already rich. He is putting himself out there for the community. He's being dragged right now by high profile people, establishment people. So what would be his reason? What is he getting out of this? Clearly, he only getting hell out of this, trying to stand up for the masses of Black people. That's the question that y'all should be asking people telling you not to listen to him. I see the character assassinations that also, coming up on him. You know what I mean? Like, people are connecting him, going back, looking at, all of his business transactions. A few months ago, he retweeted something that Minister Farrakhan said, and he was dragged by the media back then, right? So let's just listen to our brother. Listen to what the words that are actually coming out of his mouth, not somebody else's interpretation of the words, but listen to how he really G-checked Chris Cuomo for his character assassination.
Absolutely. I'm going ahead and pull this up. I've already read the copyright disclaimer. That has already been stated, but we're going to go ahead and show this clip, and we'll do some commentary in between to break this up because it is a 7-minute clip. But y'all need to listen to the lead in. Listen to the lead in when Chris Cuomo first starts and what Ice Cube says. Shout out to the chat, and thank you everyone who's tuned into Fly Nubian Queen. Make sure you text the word Queens to 31996. That's Queens to 31996. I've already stated the copyright disclaimer. This is from CNN last night with Chris Cuomo. Check it.
Know anything about him, and you probably do. He started defiance about police presence and the realities of inner city life. And he got political with his songs as well recently during the Trump administration, most recently in 2018. Here's a taste.
Arrest the president. You got that.
All right, so I'm not going to play any music, so I'm going to skip through this part, right? So this was a song that our brother Ice Cube did called Arrest the President. Okay, we're going to skip on. And then Chris Cuomo was, showing some things about some conservatives saying that how racist they are. And then he's going to do a lead. This is all a part of his lead in for Ice Cube, y'all. Check it out.
And Joe Biden are trying to perpetrate, and Bernie and Elizabeth and Kamala, or Kamala, I don't know. Whatever.
Now, that's Senator David Perdue. I actually called him Will Perdue earlier. That was the guy who played for the Bulls. He served with Harris for 3 years. He doesn't know how to say her name, or he thinks there's something to be gained by messing with her name. All right? Now, here's what the president had to say most recently about Black Lives Matter.
First of all, we already know that Donald Trump is an anti-Black racist, in my opinion. That's the common understanding from the common Black person, one. And then two, the common understanding for a real Black person also knows that the Black Lives Matter organization isn't necessarily controlled or organized by only Black people that are carrying only Black first interests. Let me just put it that way. But listen.
The first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, I said, that's such a terrible term because it's such a racist term. It's a term that sows division between blacks and whites and everybody else. And it's a very bad term for blacks. But they were very angry. It's a Marxist organization.
With all that going on and how the president continues to speak about there being no systemic inequality, it's no shock that Ice Cube got some heat for deciding to work with the Trump administration. He wants to deal with it. I want to understand it. So should you. So here is Ice Cube on Prime Time. Thank you for taking the opportunity, brother. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Chris, your lead-ins are a little misleading.
How so?
Well, the Platinum Plan is not my plan. I came up with the contract with Black America, and I didn't run to go work with any campaign. Both campaigns contacted me. Both campaigns wanted to talk to me about the contract with Black America. One campaign said, we love what you have, but let's really dig into it after the election. And one campaign said, we love what you have. Do you mind talking to us about it? And that's what I did. So I didn't run to nobody. And so that was real misleading to me.
Well, I didn't say you ran to anybody. I said that you had taken a pivot.
Well, you said I ran over to the Trump team instead of the Biden team. That's just not true.
Well, you are working with the Trump team instead of the Biden team, and people are giving you heat for it. What do you say to them?
Well, I'm willing to work with both teams, but I'm just working with whoever is willing to work with me. So the Trump campaign came to me and asked me to explain to them some of the contract with Black America. That's what I did. I'm not playing no more of these games, these political games. We're not part of a team. We have very broad problems, especially the wealth gap in this country when it comes to Black Americans. So I'm going to whoever's in power and I'm gonna speak to them about our problems specifically. I'm not going there talking about minorities. I'm not going there talking about people of color or diversity or none of that stuff. I'm going there for Black Americans, the ones who are the descendants of slaves. And that's what I'm going to talk to anybody who's in power with that. So if anybody got a problem with that, it seems like a personal problem.
Well, here's the problem.
Boom. Sis, weigh in.
He clear, y'all. Like, stop allowing other people to project and character assassinate.
Very personable.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, yeah, other people are projecting and character assassinating our brother. He clear. We have no reason not to believe. Here's the thing. Do a conscious assessment. What the F does he have to gain for doing a contract with Black America? He already rich. He already wealthy. He's been rich for 30 years. Okay? So what does he have to gain in being maligned by these people?
Right. And also, listen, he's nobody in Hollywood they're probably going to try to blacklist him. They're probably going to, although, all the good stuff that you said, that he is wealthy already. Like, what does he have to gain? He has a lot to lose, actually. Look how people are treating him right now and dragging him. Like, come on. He's standing up because he's like, no, I'm going to use my platform and my influence to advocate for something for us, as he should. Go ahead, sis.
Exactly right. And I think in this video, he goes in on, no, that was another video, but he talks about, like, this is not for me. He said, I'm not a rich N-word just sitting here doing something because I want to be doing something. I want to be seen as a leader. He said, nah, man, I got family. I got other friends and people who are connected to me that are Black aunts. And he named the people aunts, uncles, cousins, right? What I heard from him is like, damn, everybody in my circle doing worse. I'm having to pay for more things, or I'm having to help more people. Keep in mind, we living in COVID. Black people were already on the margins. Black people were already on the margins economically, socially, and politically before COVID. And now, you hear desperation in his voice. A lot of people were triggered over the summer. He even said that in another interview that, I started wanting to do something when I saw what happened to George Floyd. Something in him became activated on top of the pandemic. Now, it's nobody's business how many people in his family that he taking care of, but that's what I heard. He like, well, damn, I got to take care of everybody. Where are the jobs? Where's everything for Black descendants of enslaved Africans in this country that built the wealth of the country? He's absolutely right when he talks about the wealth gap. We ain't got shit, y'all. Economically, we are dependent. And we need to think about, how do Democrats leverage that? Every single election, false promises. And all we get is symbolism. Some of us are done.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Look, Sister Zakia nailed it. Let's listen to a little bit more of this. I see y'all in the chat. Shout out to Black Mama especially. Thank you so much, Queen. Look.
People of color, because they'll say, well, why would you pick Trump when he says there's no such thing as systemic inequality?
I'm not picking nobody. He's the president.
But why do you think he'd want to do something for the community?
Can you pause it there?
Such thing?
Yeah.
He said clear, I am not picking anybody. He's the president. That's a fact. It's a fact. Right now, the man has power. He has the potential to have 4 more years of power. Is Black people's strategy to sit on the sidelines for 4 more damn years and not get shit?
Systemic inequality.
I don't know what he want to do. I just know what the man said. I know what he said to the country. I've never met Donald Trump. So I don't know what he's going to do. I just know what he said he was going to do. So both of them have a plan. Both of them say they're going to do something. And who knows what's really going to happen after November 3rd. Nobody knows from each side. We're all hoping that candidates keep their campaign promises. So that's just it.
And hope ain't gonna liberate us or pay the bills, by the way. But you know what I'm saying? He's saying he don't know, he don't care what nobody is saying. He's looking at what these candidates are doing. And look, there was a tweet that our brother put out. I gotta interject this right now. Why is Cube said it himself? Everybody is more so worried about coming at me versus putting pressure on the Democrats for not, jumping on board to do something to ensure the Black vote, paraphrasing there. But you get the point. But look.
So let's look at it this way. I think that you're right to be skeptical. Let's start with the Democrats, because even though there is a traditional connection between Black voters and the Democrats, you could also say you've been let down or forgotten by Democrats in a lot of situations that would have mattered. Then you say, all right, so then what makes one side better than the other? That's where you get in trouble, which is, do you really think that Donald Trump can be trusted as much as you could trust Joe Biden?
I don't think I'm not trusting any of them. I'm just going by action. That's all I'm going by. I'm not going by words. I'm not going by rhetoric, not going by media spin, not going by none of that. I'm not on nobody's team. I'm not on Team Blue, not on Team Red.
So then I have that wrong.
I'm an independent person, and I believe that's what Black people need to do, is become independent, and we need to get something for our vote.
Facts.
That may not happen, but it's gonna happen.
It's got to happen. It's got to happen. Nothing changes if nothing changes. I look, if I had brought you here to fight with you, you would have known it. What I'm saying is, I think I did get it wrong, and I want to make sure I get it right. So saying you're working with the Trump team is wrong. What you did was, when they asked to talk to you about it, you said yes. If Biden had asked to talk to you about it now, you would have gone to them the same way.
Yes, you already said that. Why you asking
It's not
the
about
same
you
thing?
choosing anything. It's you working with everybody who's got a chance of doing anything.
Yes.
I'm working with whoever's in power. Yeah, I'll work with both. Whoever's in power, I'm going to work with. So whoever wins, they'll hear from me.
Okay, so I'm glad you came to clear it up. So Ice Cube is not with the Trump campaign. He's just giving his ideas and
First of all, Chris Cuomo, we didn't need you to cancel our brother Cube's appearance after you had invited him on. First, Cube said he was surprised he had even invited him on in the first place because he was banned from CNN. But either way, all of this media hoopla that was completely false went out. You canceled it, and then you want to bring him on. Your lead-in was faulty. Cube had to check you on that. And then you ask Cube the same question 20 different ways. And then now you are beginning to understand. And now you're trying to regurgitate and restate what our brother said, when you could have listened to what the black man said the first time, because Cube has been consistent. He has been consistent in his messaging. All right, I'm gonna play the last couple of seconds of this and then unshare my screen, sis.
Who wants to do something with them? Fine. Do you believe they are doing anything with your ideas?
I believe, they looked at the Contract with Black America and they updated their plan, but it's their plan. And I have my plan. My plan is broad. It goes beyond the public sector. It goes into the private sector, banks, even the movie industry. So we got to deal with a lot of different, companies, corporations, and even government when it comes to solving this problem. I believe it's a bipartisan problem. I believe it's a bipartisan problem when it comes to the issues, when it comes to Blacks in America and what's going on. It's not a Democrat problem. It's not for them to solve. It's not for the Republicans to solve. It's for both of them to solve. They do it when it comes to debt ceiling. They do it when it comes to getting us in wars. They seem to come together when it's something that really affects America. And I don't think nothing affects America more than the situation that Black Americans find ourselves in.
Boom, that part. Boom.
And that's really it at the end of the day.
Mic drop.
And let me make the other connection. The powers that be know that, right? So that's why you have a selection of elite paid Black spokespeople that are paid to massage us, that are paid to tell us to just calm down, that are paid to tell us what we seeing is not what we seeing, who are paid to tell us it's raining when somebody pissing on our head, who are paid to tell us everything is okay. Even though we looking around the community, right? We looking across the street, we looking at the continuation of the deterioration of our communities and neighborhoods, right? We looking at the fact that we might be renting from a slumlord who suddenly jacked the rent up from $600 to $2,000 a month and say, oh, well, if you can't pay the $2,000 a month, we gentrifying this area, you got to get out, right? But people want us to continue to just be meek, to continue to love our oppressor, to continue to just accept our plight in a country that we literally built for free.
That we built for free, stolen labor under kidnapping, the worst crimes against humanity, and that other immigrants who are white, Black, blue, brown, from every corner of the earth comes here and benefits off of the fact that, this country was built off of free labor, one, and then two, there is this anti-Black American apartheid in which they're trying to make us, or the concerted effort was to make us, our ethnic group, the bottom, the permanent underclass of American society. And hell nah, we not standing up for that. And shout out to any Black man, Black woman, young person who is really out here working to replace the system of anti-Black racism and white supremacy in America and around the world with a system of justice, period. Like it's not every other group gets to do that and have their sovereignty, their autonomy. They're able to exist on the planet or in certain parts of the world in American society with their different proximities to whiteness as full human beings. We are demanding it. We're taking back. We're taking back what's rightfully owed to us and what's ours. And like we ain't got to vote for nobody. Period. Don't have to do nothing. Listen, did y'all ever hear the old folks ever tell you, you say, well, you got to do X, Y, Z. I ain't got to do nothing but stay Black and die. In this case, I ain't got to do nothing but stay Black, stay authentic, stay on code, on message, and create some liberation. You know what I'm saying? And replace the system, create some justice. That's all I got to do. And integrity with myself and my ancestors. That's all I got to do. You know what I'm saying? So don't let nobody shame you into nothing. Don't let nobody set up these traps to say, oh, Black men don't support Black women. Black men are anti-immigration. Black men and Black people are homophobic and X, Y, and Z. No, Black people are tired of supporting policies that do not empower us, and we're not.
Exactly. We just showed you the graph. Bernie Sanders' campaign supported all of those issues: immigration, gender equality, expansive gender equality. It supported all of those social issues, and you still see that they even supported Bernie Sanders in higher numbers than even Black women. So these are character assassinations to get away from the fact that Black men are an economic underclass. And so that's really the final word. This has been great.
Right. Also, so sis, you gave us the final word. I already spoke my piece. I'm going to be on this like white on rice. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I might even come back on here tomorrow. And again, you may not know, our sister Zakia is definitely coming back on. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to bring in my sister Nephara Lawson. She's going to come back on. We have a whole bunch of folks who are going to be with us as we go through these next 2-3 weeks, whatever. Hashtag voter suppression 2020. If you want to talk about voter suppression, Lord, take away your freedom to think, shame people or whip them into submission to, voting or making decisions outside of their best interest. But I do want to give you, Sister Zakia, an opportunity to let our audience know how they can follow you and find you.
Yeah, absolutely. I put it in the chat a few times. People can follow me on Twitter at Zakia Chinyere. That's ZAKIYA CHINYER. You can follow me on Twitter. Peace.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, y'all. Y'all already know. Shout out to everyone who tuned in. It's 800 people in here now. We're going to wrap because this is Saturday. We got liberatory things to do. But we will be back. We appreciate everyone who hit the super chat. There are a lot of things going on this month. Clearly, we're leading up into election day. Sister Zakia, they were talking about threats. The FBI even warned of threats from these white supremacist terrorist organizations that they failed to hold accountable about them agitating violence close to election day or at the polls. We want to make sure our people are safe. Let's get our old folks to and from the polls safely. I'm not here to say don't vote. I vote consistently in elections, especially.
So do I. I vote in every election. Yeah.
In every election. But if you choose not to vote, I'm not going to shame you. We just offer, just educate yourself and make the best decisions for you and your family and for the community. Things that you can, go to bed with at night. You can go to sleep with yourself at night. Definitely do want to say, just make sure we're safe going into as the closer we get to election season. If you are absentee voting, make sure you send those ballots in. I think the last day of the census is going to be coming up this month. I
think they already canceled the stimulus or the census. Unfortunately, Trump won at the Supreme Court to stop it early.
Yes, and I think that update came out like early in the week. Let's just support each other. Let's be aware of what is happening around us politically. These people are trying to make decisions for us that don't empower us, and it is our God-given right and responsibility to protect the sanctity of the Black community and the continuity of our kind at all costs. So we want to do that through advocacy and education, and self-care. There was some other things that I wanted to say, but I'm going to be back on. Like, we're going to continue to ring sound the alarm on this topic. Do not fall for the Jedi mind tricks. Do not fall for the more division or divisive tactics coming out of mainstream media, social media, the entertainment industry, and all of that stuff.
Academia.
Oh my gosh, some of them are the biggest criminals, by the way. What they do culturally to our people is just horrible. We can do a whole show on academia.
We can do a whole show just on that. You got to bring brother Dr. Tommy Curry on your show. He'll lay it out for you as far as academia.
Let's definitely do that, because I have some colleagues of mine that are bullied and going through all types of stuff just by
they bully people. Yeah,
trying to do the bare minimum, just the basics. So look, y'all, we're gonna be back. You definitely want to text the word Queens to 31996. That's Queens to 31996. That way, if I'm out, you can get an alert, or you can get an alert when any of the other queens go live. So be sure that you're subscribed to us on Facebook, YouTube, and iTunes. Also, this is it. Look, the All Black National Convention is less than 6 days away, right? It's going to be next week from Friday to Sunday. I'm speaking on 2 panels. We have Dr. George Frazier. We have Dr. Boyce Watkins, of course. This is his event, 5th annual. Our brother Tariq Nasheed, our sister Vicky Dillard. All of the Fly Nubian Queens will be on there. We're going to be doing a panel on women's issues, Black women's issues, Black women's empowerment. And I'm also going to be on a panel for election 2020. So you want to go over to allblacknationalconvention.com. That's allblacknationalconvention.com and get your all access passes for that. All right, Sisters Ikea, I'm going to do my closing now, y'all. I love everyone in the chat. B1, this broadcast is ending, but so is global racism and white supremacy. We will and we must trample and defeat this beast through fortitude, preparedness, and collectivism. And always remember that they stole us, they sold us, so they owe us. And also #protect Ice Cube, #protect Black men, #protect Black women. All right. Now, until next time, family, peace and Black power.